Yeah, we can add it. So dude, I ran, so so I went live the other day and I published to X, and that's where everybody came from. So we're streaming to YouTube now. We're streaming to X.
I love it. Let's see.
Let's see if we are on.
Are you streaming from your Austin Gray channel?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I see right now. How to run meta ads with Steve Hunsaker.
Okay, stream details. Okay, we got
what
6
up,
people
Bodie?
on.
Yeah, it's
Is Bodie on?
some chat's working because I see Bodie in the chat on my side.
Let's go. What's up, Bodie? All right,
you
chat.
should make the
Stevie
title.
boy.
You should make the title "Run Meta Ads Without an Agency" with Steve Hunsaker. That's the key.
Oh.
Because otherwise, they're gonna think I'm shit. They're gonna think I'm shilling some agency services out here.
Okay, let's do that. Let's edit it. Run, but I use an agency.
I love agencies.
Hey, Bodie,
they're good.
What meta ads questions do you have, Bodie?
Yeah, what's up, Bodie?
All right, Steve, you know, give us a rundown. Why should local service businesses or home service businesses consider running meta ads?
Themselves or just total meta ads at a high level?
Yeah, meta ads in general. Like, why?
Yeah, so I think meta ads overall, like if you start at the ultra high level, Bodie's so full of it. If you start at the ultra high level and you just look at the platform, it's like, okay, Facebook has 190 million active weekly users, and Instagram has 169 million from last time I've checked. And so if you think about what other platform can you reach the general masses of the world, but really the US and with local businesses like that route better than Meta, like the easy answer is like Google pay-per-click or anything else because those are high intent. But what happens is like a lot of people actually would benefit from on the outside of just generating leads on Meta. What a lot of people sleep on is when you run meta ads a certain way, you can actually like hyper target into higher income areas only and build brand at the same time. And so that's like my use case for it is like when we're in our business and where the light bulb really started to click for me is like I own a Christmas light business in Arizona. We do a decent amount of sales over a 2-month period every year. And that was like kind of my jump into home services. And I built a lot of it off Google pay-per-click and all that jazz. But what I started to realize when we started scaling meta ads and adding a decent amount of friction to the questions being asked before the conversion on Meta so that it wasn't just a bunch of turds, what I started to see is like when we started running video ads specifically with like a maybe 1 or 2 still images mixed in with a lot of video, what was happening is you're building a crazy amount of subconscious trust if you run the meta ads a certain way in your market. And so the way we run them across the board is like when we do a meta video ad, it's I choose like a city that I want or a county or whatever that I want to target. And then I go super aggressive. The first words out of my mouth are to like stop the scroll, make the people feel seen. And so if I'm in Scottsdale and I'm running a campaign to like the Paradise Valley area, which is like the mega rich area, the first words out of my mouth are going to be like, what's up, Paradise Valley homeowners? My name's Steve. I'm a local Arizona born and raised guy, blah, 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 blah. And I own Valley Christmas lights. And then I go into like some basic like ad copy of just like who we are, what we do, why we're different, expiring value proposition at the end. And so obviously we were generating leads just like any other platform where they give you first name, last name, whatever else, phone number, whatever else, get them going. But the other side was like my closers would go out to jobs. And we have one specifically that we do that's a $30,000 residential job. And I tell this story because it puts a bow on why I'm so bullish on Meta for local home service businesses. Is like our ads are funny, like they're well made. They're filmed mostly with iPhones, but they're good ads. And my sales guy goes out to this job, and it's for a Fortune 500 CEO that every single person on this chat would know who it is. We do a $30,000 temporary Christmas light job for them on their house. And my closer goes out there, and in our CRM, it's coded that it came through Google Maps, like Google Organic. So my closer goes out there, starts talking to the wife, and the wife is like, oh my gosh, your guys' Instagram is so funny. And my closer was like, oh, I thought you, like, I for some reason it says in my system that you called us from Google. And she's like, oh yeah, no, I just like, I kept seeing your ads. So I Googled you after. And so the thing that like wraps it up for me is like, she isn't even in that 10, 11x ROAS number because she's attributed to coming from Google Maps. But we got her from the brand recognition and the building of like profitable Facebook ad campaigns. And then that came off the side. And so if you look at like all the massive home service businesses in the country, so if you look at like A1 Garage Door, like Gettle Plumbing, like all of these massive, like multi 100 million home service businesses, you notice at a certain point, they get really, really aggressive on radio ads, billboards and everything, and like TV ads, right? And part of that is because they want just like full blown brand recognition. But I think that Meta, you can do that at a smaller scale and buy brand while getting leads at the same time. So first name, last name, phone number, email, whatever else. And so on one side of the equation, it's like generate leads, get your closers out there, close them. Generate leads, get them on the phone, close a job, whatever your trade is. But the other side is people watch. And when you run them profitably on like the lead gen side, you're essentially just buying eyeballs at scale within the platform. So like, just because it's like, if it was just lead gen, I'd still think it wins. Like if it was just like gathering leads, just like Google pay-per-click does, I would say it wins. But then on top of that, you start to build that like kind of like local celebrity, whatever you want to call it, presence. And then that's where I see it like mega scale. So when we're in Christmas season, like for perspective, when I run a campaign on Google pay-per-click to just Paradise Valley, Arizona, which is like my spot that like we get the majority of our work from, it's one of the richest zip codes in the US, I can only spend about $200 to $300 a day on Google pay-per-click before I just run out of clicks. Like I'm swallowing up all of them in that city. Like I am outbidding all of my competition. It's the Dan Kennedy thing, like the business that spends the most to acquire a customer is going to win. And I think that's Dan Kennedy, right? And so knowing that, I've squeezed all of the juice out of Google pay-per-click I can in that small city. So then it goes to Meta and it's like, I can do the same thing there, but the difference between Google pay-per-click and Meta is the pay-per-click's not building campaign or building brand. It's just direct response. Like we either close that, we either convert them from the landing page, bring them in and sell them, or it's gone. Facebook, Instagram, I'm hitting these people. Like my frequency on some of these campaigns gets up to like 3-4x, meaning like one individual phone is seeing my brand 3 to 4 times. And like, that's the same concept of why people buy billboards. It's the same concept of why people buy everything else. So that's why I'm super bullish on Facebook ads, to put it in a nutshell. But while anybody's listening, the caveat is people say like the quality of lead on Facebook is terrible, right? And there's nuance to everything. We find that we actually add a lot of friction on Facebook when we start to scale campaigns. So like people who say Facebook ads are turds, a lot of the time they run messaging conversations. I'll never run a messaging campaign ever. I'll only run lead forms or landing pages, like drive the traffic to a landing page. And then as long as the creative's good, like I'm going to get super aggressive on like, it's not just first name, last name, phone number, whatever else. I'm going to grab like, what are you looking to do on your house? What is your, what package are you interested in? And so like on our Facebook ads, it says like we before they convert during peak Christmas season, we don't want a bunch of turds in there because it'll add a bunch of operational lag to our sales team. And so we'll even say, which of these are you more interested in? It says $9.99 minimum, and it says roofline only. And then it's $1,000 to $2,500. Then it's roofline and some landscaping. And then it's like $2,500 plus, and then it's like brightest on the block. And so what happens is, if you were going to convert from my Facebook ad and you were thinking that I was just like the neighborhood crackhead hanging Christmas lights in the back of a Ford Fusion, which I did in year one, you would never convert once you saw that the minimum was $9.99. And so that's how we sift through the quality problem, is we add friction to the Facebook ads. But the part where I got really annoyed with Facebook ad agencies specifically, sorry, Bodie, I'm not, before Bodie jumps in the chat, I'm not saying all agencies are bad, and I'm not even saying all Facebook ad agencies are bad. But what happens when an agency, specifically in Facebook, has never run a business, they don't understand what lead quality means. And so what happens is, like, a lot of these agencies that go after home service businesses that are doing less than probably like $1 million a year, is they're like, I got you so many leads, Austin. Like, Austin, we got 14 leads yesterday. And you're like, dude, I made contact with one of them because you're not adding any friction. And so then I used to tell these agencies like 2-3 years ago, like, can you just make a campaign where you target just Paradise Valley, Arizona? Can you make a campaign where you just target Scottsdale? And they'd be like, oh, well, no, because like we can't do that because of the algorithm. It's like, no, you can't do that because then you don't want to just generate 2 or 3 leads and then have the owner be like, why can you only generate me 2 or 3 leads? Because you want to be able to go to the business owner and be like, look at how many we got you. Why can't you just close? You know? And so that was always my beef. So that's my long spiel on why I'm so bullish on Facebook and Instagram ads.
Let's break it down how to qualify again. You touched on it already,
Yeah.
but I really want to dive deep into that because that is something that is so crucial for running Facebook ads here.
For sure. Am I allowed to share my screen on here?
Yeah.
Can I do that? Is this like too much sauce? Like, can I share it?
Know.
Do you
Ask
mind?
the audience.
Okay. All right. So let's just take my landing page for the temporary business, right? So this is my website. Let's see if it's sharing. Is it sharing? Okay, cool.
Gotcha.
So like, this is my website, right? Pretty. The second they go in to get a quote, even on our website, because we like want to get quality, they're answering like a decent amount of friction. So first name, last name, phone, email, the full address, city, state, postcode, and then what can we light up for you? You know, roofline landscaping wreaths, and then brightest on the block, 2,500 plus. So this is the kind of friction I'm talking about. Now, if I'm running cold traffic on Facebook, I'm doing a little bit less than this. Like on Facebook, I probably won't ask for the full address. I'll ask for a zip code because that's like almost you start to teeter on the line of too much friction for cold traffic because you still want to sell a little bit, but there's like a balancing act. And so on Facebook for Christmas season, I'll do like name, phone, email, zip code, and then the qualifying questions. What can we line up for you? Do you have anything you want us to know? And then they have to acknowledge this disclaimer, which says, I have read and understand that Valley Christmas Lights is a premier service provider for holiday Christmas lighting and is fully licensed and insured in the state of Arizona. Because of this, I acknowledge and have read that the minimum charge starts at $9.99 with no exceptions. So like, you are being pre-framed that this is not the neighborhood kid hanging lights. Now, on this same token, if I'm running just like standard Facebook ads in a business that like has a longer sales process, I'd probably have a little bit less friction or like a higher ticket. It's just the fact that Christmas is like the amount of people that think they'd be interested in Christmas lights versus the amount of people that would actually be a target customer for us. We have to add that friction. But if I was like you, Austin, I would probably in land clearing for like a Facebook ad, I would ask like first name, last name, phone number, email, and then like maybe 1 or 2 qualifying questions. Like maybe something like that's pertinent to land clearing. Like, are you wanting to get this for a home or a business property? And then something else that's just enough to get them to not just click autofill and go forward. And then that's like that sweet spot. Because if you take my permanent lighting business now and you see our Facebook ads on that business, we're not asking as much questions in the middle of July for permanent Christmas lights because the demand isn't there. But we still ask enough to where people don't just autofill through and it's a bunch of like, because we're in Arizona, if you like have autofill on and just ask for first name, last name, phone number, you're just going to get like 50% of your leads are going to be Spanish speaking in Tucson. And so like you have to like have a little bit of friction there, but nowhere near the amount of friction that I have for Christmas. So every business is a little bit different in that sense.
Yeah, definitely. And I'll agree with you on the friction piece. Like, so let's break it down for listeners who don't understand or who have no experience in conversion. What would be the least amount of friction for an opt-in form?
An
the
email.
Absolute bare minimum.
Bare minimum is they ask for email.
And then the next step is email and first name, right?
Yeah.
And then from there, once you start layering in phone number, address, or zip code, more information means more friction.
And more friction is not a bad thing. Friction equals intent. Like you have to understand the game behind Meta is like Meta will show your ad to the guy under a bridge with a smartphone. Like that's just the reality. It's not like Google will also, but like they had to go search land clearing Phoenix, Arizona to get your Google pay-per-click ad or like your LSA, whatever else. Meta is interruption marketing. So they're scrolling for, cute dog videos, and they're scrolling for like cooking recipes. You interrupt them, and then you have to get them to take action. So because they weren't looking for you, you can generate leads because it's cheaper to you reach 1,000 people for like, $100 or whatever it is on like Meta for like CPMs, which is cost per millionth or whatever. Like the cost Meta Mark Zuckerberg charges you to reach a certain amount of people. That's what the CPMs are. But because of that, you want to have like a little bit more friction, because you know that your ads will be shown to low income communities. Your ads will be shown to, anybody regardless. And so a lot of people that spend a lot of time on their smartphones have no interest in buying from you. Sometimes they just want to chat. And so like what happens in the worst case scenario actually is when you're running like a Meta campaign and you don't have enough friction, the pixel, which is like your algorithm yourself, will actually learn poorly and not know who your target customer is if you don't have enough friction. And so Meta, I was watching a Jeremy Haynes video a while back. I think it's like 80,000 or 100,000 individual touch points go into the data points go into the algorithm for Meta. And so it's like, whether like maybe you interacted with a fitness page and you interacted with like, who's the bodybuilder with the lisp? Chris, whatever his name is. Like maybe you interacted with his stuff, and then you also like frequently look at your gym's organic page. Meta's going to take all of that data on you. And then if I came in and was running like a protein supplement company, Meta has your behavior over here, which was like gym related, whatever related. And then it has all other 190 million people that are active on the app's behavior. And it starts to see like what interests can we see in this algorithm that would also make him convert here. And so that's why the friction in a local campaign matters, because like when my campaigns start running and the only people converting are people that understand that it's a $999 service, they're acknowledging that they own the home, like they're all that other stuff. After about 20 to 50 conversions, Meta's going to start showing it to other people that are similar to that. And maybe this is all just complete guess. No one knows how the algorithm works. But like maybe it's a bunch of people that also interact with a really expensive steakhouse. Maybe it's the people that like the Porsche dealer's Facebook page down the road. Maybe it's the people that are a part of a bunch of neighborhood Facebook groups in those areas, like stuff like that. And so that's why the friction is so important, not just to not fill your CRM with turds, but also to train the algorithm a little bit more clearly on who you're reaching.
Talk to us about how to capture attention. We're talking interruption marketing right now. People are scrolling. What do you do as a marketer or as a home service business owner to capture that attention?
Well, the biggest thing to start with is the fact that the average American right now scrolls on TikTok and Instagram Reels the equivalent of 3 Eiffel Towers a day. So that's how much the average American scrolls on TikTok and Instagram and Facebook, meaning they scale with their hand 3 Eiffel Towers a day worth of in increments of the size of your iPhone. So that's the number. That's a real number. 3 Eiffel Towers a day. So if you know that, then the most important part of ads now is capturing attention. And so how do you capture attention? It is in the first 3 seconds. And so when you're running a local business ad, what is the one thing that you can shout out the first words out of your mouth that will grab the attention of somebody in your market? It's going to be calling out where they live. So because this, like, if you get a Facebook ad right now from me and it says like, "What's up, Philadelphia homeowners?" next, right? It's like, it's not relevant to you. But if you got one that, what's your hometown? What's your city?
You can just call it Denver.
Okay. Yeah. So it's like, if you're, if you're in Denver, and like, I would even try to find like a smaller county that all the rich people are in and go right to there and target it there. You say like, "What's up, Denver homeowners? My name's Steve." And I would film it at some sort of landmark that is the subconscious cue that you're local. So what we do in some of our ads is like, my best performing ad last year, the background is me on my balcony at my place, and the background is like the Red Mountains. That's like very synonymous with Arizona, right? So even the visual cue is that I'm in Arizona. Now, it's not every ad. I'm just saying like, this is a piece. But then the first words out of your mouth are the location you're targeting, who you are. So I'm Steve. I'm the owner of Valley Christmas Lights. We've been doing residential and business high-end white glove Christmas light displays for 5 years. And then I would go into what makes us different. And then at the end, it's the call to action, which is like the CTA. And on the end of that ad, I would say I would have some form of an expiring offer to get them to take action. So if you if you click get quote now and submit the form, we'll give you $300 off your install by the end of this month, or something like that that drives action. And that's like largely the structure we play at like the beginner level. Once you get like a little bit more savvy, like I have some ads because I'm like a good ad buyer now in my business, where like I experiment with like 6-second banger ads that are like very low CPM so they reach more people, whatever else. But that's like the really basic rundown of grabbing attention. And so it's like you have to be brutally self-honest with yourself about the ad. It's like, why would they stop and watch it? Right. And this is why I've been like anti still image, because yes, still images convert because the CPMs, the cost to reach 1,000 people is a little bit cheaper, and they can read them at work. That's the other thing. So like if you're running a video, you got to have subtitles, because people, I think it's like close to half of the reels are watched on mute. And so you have to have subtitles. But the thing that's different with this model is like, we want to make them feel immediately like it is a local business in their neighborhood run by local guys and gals, bonus points if it's family owned. And then once you grab their attention in that first 3 seconds, 5 seconds, then the rest of the ad, you can kind of experiment with whatever else.
What are some other parts of the ad that are important as far as the structure goes?
So it's actually like, it's kind of interesting. Like if I pulled up our best performing ad, that's like so that structure I just gave you, like call the location, introduce yourself, who you are, what you do, why you're different, expiring value proposition at the end with a call to action. Like that's the basic structure. In the middle, that's where it like kind of becomes a testing thing, like a little bit. So what I mean by that is like, if I take my winner, like my best ad, I can take a guess on like, why did this work really well? And it's probably like, you know, a variety of different reasons. So once I find like a winner, like, because I'll post when I make a new campaign, I'll post like 2, 3, 4, or 3 to 4 ads at a time, different creatives. Like one video I'm here, I'm saying this, one video I'm here, I'm saying this, whatever. Then Meta will find the winner for you. The algorithm will find the winner. Once I find that winner, I don't care what made it a winner. It's just the winner. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to make slight variations of that ad. So maybe I make, after I found the winner of those 4, I'm going to go say that exact same script in a different location with a different background. Or maybe I call out something different, or my value proposition went from, we're the only Christmas light company in the Valley that I know of that only does Christmas lights. We don't have an add-on service to another business. All we do is Christmas. Maybe I change that little like value prop in the middle to like something quicker. Like, you know, we're locally owned by some Arizona boys who grew up and went to school here, like something like that. And you could switch them out. So the middle is probably like the least important part, as funny as it sounds. The most important part's the beginning. And then tell your story quickly and then grab them with a hard call to action at the end. And the beauty of all of this is like, you can make these on CapCut. Like you can pay a Fiverr editor, you know, whatever else, to throw in whatever for you for $30 a video and just get a bunch of creative tested out. Or you can get to our size now. Now I have because of Home Service Accelerator and the Christmas light business, I have a full-time videographer now. So when we go film ads, like we rip them. Like we still do some on iPhones, but I have a full-time videographer. Like he edits everything for me now too. But that's like the baseline, is like that middle portion is the part you can have some wiggle room with. I'm not like married to saying you have to say you're locally owned. Everybody says that. But the one thing I will say that works for me really well is humor. Like humor is the ultimate disarmor in ads. So they already know you're local and you like made them smile a little bit. Like that's the winner. So like one of my best performing ads where I start on the balcony last year, I say, I walk back into my apartment and I sit on my couch with my crackhead looking Italian Greyhound dog. And I have like a glass of wine in my hand. And I sit on my couch and say like, call the Valley Christmas boys. And I like lean back and I like put my leg up. I like lean back and put my leg up. And I have like my dog on my side. And I say like, so you can sit on the couch with your pets and the boys will, you know, whatever else. And like, that just works. And so I'm not married to that, but that's just the one that converts. So I keep doing variations of that. But the humor portion we seem to find grabs attention, because the sooner you realize that you're not special at all, and that's a rule of life in general, but specifically in ads, like the moment you realize that like they don't care that you're like been in business for 5 years, they don't care that all the competition sucks but you. Like they don't do 1% of the thought that you put into the ad. So you have to just like lay it out, give them a reason to be excited or convinced. And I use humor. We have a ton of people in Home Service Accelerator that run their own ads that don't use humor, but I just have always leaned on that and it works well.
Are you naturally like do you use humor in your natural conversations?
Yeah, I mean, I like to have a good time, but like the other thing that we've seen too that's interesting is some guys have accents and they're like, "Oh, I don't want to talk in camera because I have an accent." And like we don't see, as long as it's like as long as what they're saying is legible, we don't see people not get results because like it's like a little bit broken or anything like that. Because what I think the underlying thing with local service businesses more than anything is genuinity in the ads, like coming off genuine. And so like some like we have electricians that we've like helped set up ads and stuff like that for, and like the dude's terrible on camera but he's like so bad it's kind of funny, and it just feels like really real, like dude, that is clearly the owner and not like a Hollywood actor, like, and there's something about that that's like endearing. And then the other side too is like younger guys crush on these ads. Like we got window cleaners in the program that are like, I had him on my YouTube, Caden, one of our members. He's like 21 years old, 22 years old, doing like 50K a month window cleaning at like 65, 70% margins, like insane business, like one of the most profitable window cleaning businesses I've ever seen. And he looks like a child in his ads. Like it looks like a kid is running the ads, but it prints. So there's kind of like, you just got to play the hand you're dealt and run with it.
One commonality I'm seeing across everybody I've talked to in this space is that talking head video ads outperform across the board. Are you seeing the same thing?
Yes. However, I think Meta heard that recently. The algorithm's changing all the time. So that's why like we constantly are making new creative, because you don't know what they're doing on the back end. But yes, the universal law for me has been video converts better. Now, this is going to get a little bit in the weeds here, but so to answer your question, yes, video, in my opinion, if I had to choose one or the other, I would choose video 7 days a week and twice on Sundays. Now, with that being said, for any of my business owners out there, you'll understand this, which I hope is most of the people listening. Cost per lead is not the deciding factor of whether a campaign is working, right? And so when people like, I have an ad that's running right now for Home Service Accelerator, and I say like, these are the 3 best ways to run Facebook ads. I recommend running video. I'll get a mobile detailer who clearly does not have an employee, whatever else, comment on my ad and be like, I'm running still image and it's great. Like you're wrong. Still image is great. I'm sure you can get results from still image. I am not saying that still image is dead by any means. It used to be, I used to say still image was completely dead. It's since come back a little bit, but a lot of these guys are like, oh, I'm getting Facebook conversations in messaging ads for $5 a convo. The last time I ran lead form ads, they were $25 a lead. So messaging is better. So then I would say the next logical thing you have to look at after cost per lead is, what is your cost per appointment? Like what is your, it doesn't matter what the cost per lead is. It's what's the cost per appointment, the cost per given estimate or quote, and then what was the close rate on those? Like, at the end of the day, the only thing I care about is how many dollars did I give Mark Zuckerberg and how many did he spit back out to me? So like if he was charging me $100 a lead, but every single one of those was a lay down Christmas light install for $3,500, I'd keep running them all day long. So like cost per lead is a guiding metric, but it's not the only metric. And I think that's where beginners that run their own ads start to really like lose their way. Is like they'll run a campaign in like a really ritzy area only, and their cost per lead will be $40 a lead, and it used to be 20. And they don't even give themselves like 2-3 weeks to see like, dude, what if like if it's $50 a lead and you used to pay 10, but so like you got 10 leads for $100 that are messaging conversations, you only got one appointment out of those 10, you bought the appointment for $100. That's just what it is. You spent $10 a lead, you got one appointment out of 10, you bought the appointment for $100. And then the other campaign is like, oh, it was $40 a lead and I got 3 leads. So I spent $120 on it, but 2 or 3 of those converted into appointments. So it's like, oh, I actually got an appointment for $60 an appointment. In that case, that's actually a better campaign. They just like people get so caught in the cost per lead conversation that they don't even let the campaigns run their course. And the other thing that's interesting is like the more I talk to big agency owners, the one common trend, like our friends at Ad Class, friends at everywhere else, like even Bodie and them work with a lot of bigger businesses in different trades, is like good agency owners, like ones that are working with businesses that do like $1 million, $2 million, $3 million plus a year, whatever else. They're much slower to make changes to campaigns. Like they're much more patient with campaigns like running out, because we have a guy that's in a home service accelerator that's a landscape design company. He started a campaign like 10 days ago, and he got on a call and was like, hey, I'm at like a 3.5x right now. Should I shut it off? And I was like, well, how many quotes do you still have outstanding? And he's like, oh, I've got like 3 or 4 out. And I was like, dude, don't kill the campaign right now, because you're a landscape lighting business. Like your sales process is longer. Like you might be at a 3.4, 3.5x right now today. And then a lead you generated 8 days ago makes a deposit on a $10,000 job. That campaign is now a 15x ROAS, but you killed it before you even really like let the thing run. And that's been an interesting thing. It's a Facebook. You have to like Facebook, Instagram ads, like meta ads. You have to be willing to like set some money on fire to figure it out. Not a lot, but you got to be patient. Like let the thing run its course.
That's why like when a lot of people reach out and they're like, hey, like, can you share with me what your Facebook, like what you're doing on Facebook? And I'm like, yes, I can, but at a very minimum, very, very minimum, you got to have like 3 months worth of $50 a day at a very minimum in my mind.
Yeah.
What would you recommend?
It's tough because like, so I've worked with like 350 something people in the last year in home service accelerator. That's what I do in the off season of Christmas. We talked about it a little bit. It's like, if I'm talking to a window cleaner, like some of these guys rip at 30, 40 bucks a day. They're like younger cats, like businesses smaller. They can get it figured out. But then it's like, I had a guy come in last week who's like a gutter installation company. They're doing like low 6 figures a month in gutters and permanent Christmas lights. That's like their service stack. And he comes in just off rip, because he's way bigger, off rip testing campaign. He's spending like 100 to 150 a day. And he's just getting results faster. If you're spending more per day, you're giving the algorithm more chances to show your ads out to people and then gather back the data and learn. And so his campaign's ripped in like 5 days. Whereas like sometimes guys take 7 days, 10 days, whatever else, because it takes a while for the campaigns to learn. So it's kind of a mixed answer there, but it's like kind of dependent on the trade. But I get annoyed when people join and they're like, I want to spend $20 a day. I'm like, no. So we've started.
That was kind of my point here.
Yeah. Like
yeah. When people are like, hey, I'm going to start with $10 a day. I'm like, I don't know, just go like knock on doors and hand out flyers at that point, or go send direct mail. Yeah. And I'm curious to hear like where you recommend is like the bare minimum people start.
Yeah. I think you just need to zoom out and say like, what is my marketing? Like, what would I be comfortable with setting on fire this month at a 1-to-1 ROAS? So it's like, okay, if they're doing, let's say they're, for easy math, let's say they're a window cleaning, exterior cleaning business, and they do $50,000 a month, and they have decent industry average margins. So they would like, someone would say like, okay, you should be able to park $5,000 a month in meta ads to try to make it work, right? That's reasonable depending on what their other ad spend is. Let's just easy math. Let's just call it $5,000 a month. So I would look at that and say, okay, if you have budgeted $5,000 a month, like on your first campaign, if it's a 30-day month, let's just start it at, start your spend at $75 to $100 a day. Just start it there. Start to see some results. Great. We start to find some creatives. Great. Then you can start scaling it. You can start throwing some extra dollars behind it, whatever else, and keep it going from there. It's like when guys try to throw $10 at it, I'm like, dude, if your CPMs are $100 per 1,000 people and you're spending $10 a day, your ad's going to hit 100 people. Is that math right? Yeah, that math's right. It's 100 people a day. Like you're not going to get you're not going to get any juice from that. You're not even giving the algo a chance.
Yeah. And so another thing that, and I'm curious to hear your perspective on this, but like when I first started running Facebook ad, I viewed this completely as an investment. Because once you understand that the pixel gets smarter, or the, what do they call it now? Data set
Mm-hmm.
gets smarter with time. You just have to view it as the upfront investment to get in the game. But once it starts getting to a certain level, and I'd be curious to hear some of your success stories that you've seen. It's like, is there sort of like a curve that is hit to where it's like, okay, now it's really working for some of the people you touch?
Yeah, dude, that's a great question. So if I look at like our, 350 something, I think it's like 360 now. I don't know, something like that in the last, let's call it 12 months. If I look at every time somebody has messaged me or my staff on Discord, because remember, for everybody listening, we teach home service businesses and their staffs how to run them themselves. Like we're somewhat the anti-agency model for home service businesses for Meta, not pay-per-click, not anything else, just Meta. So if I look at like the amount of times people have said, my campaign's not working, it's been 2 weeks, I'm losing money, the most common factor is they didn't follow instructions and they only ran one creative or two creatives. On the contrary, if you look at the success stories we have in Home Service Accelerator, Caden from the window cleaning company that went from like, I think he came in doing like 10K a month door knocking. He's doing like 50K a month now at good margins. Tom from Dandy Painting, he was doing like 30K a month in painting, and now he's doing like 200 to 300K a month, like repeat in painting. Like guys like that, if you look at their ad accounts, they tested like started with 3 to 4 creative, like 3 to 4 individual videos, photos, whatever else in their first campaign, found the winners, made variations. Like the best ones are the ones that keep testing and trying creative to find what sticks. Because every single thing we talked about, lead forms, websites, landing pages, anything else, the only thing that matters now in 2025 is the creative. Like that is that is 90% of it. It's the creative. It's not like, did I target home and gardens interests? Did I target age groups? Like none of that. It's the creative itself. How well does the creative tell the story? And so we had a window cleaning company in Canada join last month, and they did a campaign and their first 3 creatives completely flopped. Like they spent like $50 a day, went like 10 days, $500 sank. Like they didn't even get like a lead. Then their next campaign, they did 3 different creatives. It was 2 videos, 1 still image, and it's printing. So it's like they got 6 creatives in before finding one that works. But the reality of it is you're going to make 3, 5, 6, 7 creatives. You're going to find 1, maybe 2 winners out of those 6, 7. Like truly. You're going to find like maybe 1 or 2. And then you're like, okay, now we have it. Then you make a mega campaign with those 2, and you shuffle in 1 more variation of that. You make a mega campaign with those 3 creatives, because then what happens is like the reason Meta gets people to convert is they'll show somebody 1 creative. They might watch the video for 30 minutes. They might open the landing page and not convert. They might open the lead form and not convert. But once they took a tiny bit of action, or they watched the ad for a little bit longer, they'll then serve that same user another ad and then another one. And so if you only have 1 creative, it's just going to fatigue like crazy. If you have 2 or 3, it can start serving them multiple creatives at a time. That's when it starts becoming like, oh, I've been seeing these guys everywhere. All right, I'll check them out. That's the magic.
What are some metrics that are important for people to look at? What are the main things that people should be understanding to understand when an ad is winning?
Cost per appointment. Like how many of these became a given quote is like the first one. Pre-qualified, like given quote, and then return on ad spend. Like that's it. Everything else, like cost per lead, will drive you to cost per appointment, which will drive you to whatever else. The other thing that I think is really interesting about like because what you're asking is like, what can make a successful campaign, right? Like, how are you judging it? The funniest thing about this, and it's actually the reason that I never started an agency, is if you gave me 100 leads for Christmas lights in November, and then you gave my competitor, who is an owner op, the identical 100 leads at the exact same time, I have a speed to lead system that's insane. Reaches out to them and they get a text the second they submit. They get a phone call in under 60 seconds from our staff, all automated. The other guy doesn't have any systems like that. His sales process is worse. His nurture process is worse. We could get the exact same 100 leads at the exact same time. My systems will probably get me a 10x, and that guy might get a 3 or 4. And so it's like, we could talk about cost per lead, cost per appointment, cost per whatever all the time. But the way you get cost per appointment down is you have better systems. It's like you have an instant connect feature where the second they click submit on your website or your lead, your sales guy's phone rings and it says you have a new lead, press 2 to get connected. The system automatically calls them. If they don't answer, system sends them a text. What's up, Austin? It's Steve with Valley Christmas Lights. Saw you reached out on our website. When's a good time to connect? Feel free to call me back here or text me back here and get you started. Like, then when he responds via text, it moves in your pipeline to hot lead, call now, and your like stages of your pipeline. Like, if a business has that set up and like their systems fast, their sales guys or their staff gets estimates out to people fast, all that jazz, you could, like, if you don't have that part of the business dialed in, you could have Apple's branding, you could have Alex Hormozy running your marketing campaigns, and you could have the perfect mix of every sales guru in the world, Andy Elliott mixed with Grant Cardone, whatever, running your sales process. If they're not getting in front of people within 24 hours or 48 hours with appointments, like lead comes in on Monday, you better be there Monday afternoon or Tuesday afternoon. If you had a business like that with the best closers and best marketers in the world, the business that has really good systems and speed to lead in home services will run circles around that other scenario with Apple and Hormozy and Grant Cardone. Like, it's just speed. It's just speed and follow-up. That's the difference between a 4X campaign and a 20X campaign.
You shared a photo recently on X, and it's something that I've been talking with some of my other marketing friends about. But speed to lead, that percentage, that Harvard study.
Mm-hmm.
Can you talk about that?
Yeah, and so I'm gonna butcher the like exact metrics, but you guys will get.
I'm gonna pull it up.
The gist of it. It's so they measured a business or a bunch of businesses that are all in the service sector. So a lot of these were like service-based businesses, from my understanding. And what they did is they were like, okay, let's calculate the percentage of booked appointments and closed sales on a business that takes 24 hours to reach out to people or longer. And then they use that as the baseline. And then what they did is they went back and they have measurements on like 18 hours from first touch to reach out, 12 hours, 6 hours, 3 hours, 2 hours, 1 hour, and under 1 minute. The businesses that had systems that reached out to people in less than a minute had a 391% higher chance of closing, compare a 391% increased chance of closing, whatever that metric is, compared to the businesses that took a day or more to get back to people. Now, people can say, oh, that was service-based businesses like tech, that was whatever else. Even if it's half that, like even if it's a quarter of that, what happens with a user, with an end user, your prospect, the second they click submit on your leads? Austin, what's the next thing they do? They went on your website. They said, I want to get land clearing quoted. I want to get a quote on land clearing. They gave you their name, their email, their phone number. They click submit. It says, thank you so much. We'll reach out to you. We'll reach out to you soon. What's the next thing that prospect's doing?
So this is an area I want to jump in. If you have a thank you page, which I'm a big fan of, a thank you page video right there. Hey, it's Austin from Bear Claw. Real quick, I'm going to show you some next steps for what you can expect in our process. One of our team members is going to be reaching out to you here shortly. He's going to be calling from this number right here. And then I put the number right down below. If for whatever reason you do not hear from him, please reach out to that number because he's probably in a site visit right now. Otherwise, I don't remember exactly what else I say on that, but it's basically just like showing them next steps to grab their attention and then keep them on there, because what you're asking, and I think the answer you were looking for, is when they hit submit, they're going to the next Google provider or searching for land clearing services. They're probably going to number 2, number 3, number 4, number 5, and they're looking to fill out their forms. So to your point, and I don't know if this is exactly where you're going with it, but what we try to do is we try to catch them before they go to service provider number 2, 3, and 4, because if we can catch them, especially on the phone, we've distracted them, 1, from that process. We've 2, showed them that we're a professional company, and we've 3, started our sales process. Hey, it's awesome with Bear Claw Land Services. I just saw that you filled out the form on the website. Wow, that was fast. And I tell our guys all the time, if you're not getting that answer, wow, that was fast, then you're too slow. Because when I was doing sales, I was getting that answer all the freaking time
Oh yeah.
because I have every single automation set up to my phone to where it's like text, boom, click, call, like 5 seconds. You know what I mean? From the time it hits my phone. And
Yeah.
like that sort of like the tenacity to do that like takes people away from going to 2, 3, 4, and 5.
Exactly. Yeah. This is in beta. Like we haven't rolled this out yet, but it's cool that you said that. I know we're audio, so I'll describe it as well as I can. Like over this, but like this is for cold traffic only. After they get submitted through like a Facebook ad or an Instagram ad or anything like that, we give them, we put them on like a landing page. That's like a thank you page. Can you see my screen? For some reason, it's not popping up on mine.
Here you go.
Oh, cool. So this is after they submit. It's optimized for mobile. That's why it looks weird on here. I just tried to show you the whole thing. It's in like test mode right now. So after they've submitted their info to us, so let's just make sure we're clear. After they've given us name, email, whatever, we said thank you. It redirects them to this page. This is me greeting them on like what to expect with Valley Premier Lighting. But the step further that I took is I built an instant book calendar on top of it for them to self-schedule estimates. So even though everybody won't self-schedule an estimate, what I wanted was the ability for people that are super, super hot, like super hot opportunities, to then come get more info and be able to do their homework and stay in our sales ecosystem. And so these are like, some of these are dead links. Like we just filmed the videos for this, but like, this is just a video of me like really gross, like talking through like our processes, like what to expect. This is a home that we do, whatever. And then it's like, oh, you want to see our reviews? Cool. Click this. It'll take you to our Google page. You want to get a tour of the mobile app? Cool. Check that out. You want to see our services? Great. It'll take you to, our service page that talks about it. So like, I agree with you. I think like the first like knee-jerk reaction to running any form of ads is like keep them in the ecosystem as fast as humanly possible. But at the same time, it's like have a system set up that immediately automatically calls your salespeople, whoever are assigned to that first touch, whether you have an appointment setter or a salesperson, and like connect with them immediately. Oh yeah.
For
Yours is even
sure.
pretty. Yours is even prettier than mine. I still have to like pretty mine up. It's like bare bones. I made it last Saturday, but yours is exactly like.
So one thing I would add to this right here is click play below, because when you embed a loom, you do have to click play here. So I would be really clear with like click play to watch the video for next steps right here. But it's just me. It's just like, hey, I'm awesome with Bear Claw Land Services. Here's how this process will work. One of our sales, I don't call them salespeople. Our project manager will be giving you a call here shortly, right? Because nobody wants to be sold.
Yep.
And then I just like tell them like, hey, our goal is to understand the vision you have for your property after a job well done. Keep an eye out for an email, phone call from our office manager. If you don't hear from us shortly, feel free to call this number, right? And then I hit them with the social proof. Here are some people we've worked for, B2B, right? And then I just do the review scroll right here. So to your point, the idea that we're trying to do is just keep them in the system until we can get them on the phone. Because if we can get them on the phone, then the next step, and I won't steal the show, I'll let you take it from here, but it's like, what's the goal of that phone call? And I know we both agree on it.
Barbecue chicken from there. The second you get them on the phone and you're like a semblance of competent, it's barbecue chicken from there. Like set the appointment, because like if you think about it as a consumer, now your trade is going to have a smaller percentage of people that just rip with the first guy because your average ticket is so big, but it's much more of an impact and feel thing for you to win that bid, right? And so whereas like mine is like strictly transactional, I would say like if I had to guess, I would say a quarter to half of our customers don't even get a second quote because they're high-end luxury services. Like they just want to check it off the list. Holy crap, this company got back to us that fast. Fantastic. Let's just rip it. Now, that doesn't mean that everybody will just instantly not quote you out because you were fast. But like the first guy there wins. At like if you look at, 1,000 inbound leads, whoever gets there first over time and they're within reason and their sales process is decent, they're going to win long term than the people who are trickling in second, third, and fourth. Because once that homeowner gets, and they go through the estimate process with company number one, they hear all this, they hear all that, then they're going to have to go do it again. And then they're going to have to go do it again. And the second guy was 30 minutes late and then it's like, okay, remember the good guys. And then it becomes a follow-up thing and everything else. But for any transactional trades listening that are like a quicker sales process, like Christmas lights, windows, stuff like that, we're aggressive with trying to get a deposit in person. Like we like to get, like when we're in mid Christmas season, like my guys are like trying to get a deposit and book a time, it like process that credit card in person on the quote.
Well, you also have urgency working for you too there. So there's like, I mean, why not ask for that, right? Because
Yeah.
like people want it. There is a short time frame, so why not ask for the deposit?
I think that other brands that don't have naturally built in urgency can find a way to fabricate urgency a little bit. So, you probably already do this, but like if I was like starting a land clearing company, my sales guys' scripts would be aggressive about like, okay, we've got, 2 crews running right now. Currently, they're, 3 to 4 weeks out. I've got a slot here at X date, and I've got a slot here at X date. I've got 2 more sales guys that are out doing or excuse me, 2 more project managers out doing these. If you want to grab this spot, it's first come, first serve or something like just like, even though it's not going to be anywhere near the, like the level of urgency that I have naturally built into my business. That's one thing we do. In the permanent lighting business, the other thing we do to build urgency in the summer months is we have a discount stacking calendar that's like it's like 4 cartoon images of tickets. And it says May discount. So we explain to them in the sales process, like, hey, 90% of our calls are going to come in October, November. We pass the savings on to you if you want to get the permanent Christmas lights in May, in June, whatever else. Here's our discount stacking program. If you make a deposit before the end of May, you get 20% off. If you make a deposit before the end of June, it goes down to 17. If you make a deposit before the end of July, it goes down to 13. If you make a deposit before the end of August, it's 10%. So if you guys know you want to do this during the holidays this year, you might as well do it now and save a few $100. And that's like a super genuine, real feeling way that we built urgency, where it's just like, even though like what we were finding, and we just started permanent lights this February, we were temporary for 5 years. What we were finding is like people would be hyped on it, but there was so little urgency because it was 8 months until Christmas. It was 9 months until Christmas that like we had to fabricate some form of carrot to grab them. And that has seemingly got people to take action. Because what we'll do is towards the end of the month, like we'll in the next 3-4 days send a text reminding everybody with outstanding quotes, hey, just so you know, discount stacking period's wrapping up. If you guys knew you want to do this, here's the reminder, let us know. And then we'll just trickle in some deposits.
I love it. What else do people need to know about Facebook ads, Steve?
Oh gosh. I think that the automation of Facebook ads is like the most important part. If you're going to run lead form ads, let me just give you some quick hitters. If you're going to run lead form ads,
Hey,
turn
Steve,
off.
real quick, before we jump into the quick hitters, I want to prompt the audience here. We've got 119 people here right now.
Wow.
What questions do you have for Steve on running Facebook ads? Post it in the chat. Bodie's already been jumping in there.
Cool. Okay. While they're trickling in.
Yeah, it's a 20-second lag, so I'll be monitoring it back here, and I'll take note of the next one. So add your questions in the chat. Go over on the right side. What questions do you have about Facebook ads? Live Q&A, anything goes.
Okay, quick hitter. Facebook ads. Like there's 2 types of people in the world: people who say Facebook ads don't work, and people who've tested 5 or more creatives. That's the only 2 people. That's number 1. Number 2, if you're running lead form ads, where it means like they're filling out the lead forms within Facebook and you feel like a lot of people are submitting and giving bad info, turn off lead form autofill. Turn that setting off in the lead form. Autofill, if they like, for example, are on Instagram and they've given fake info to other companies, Instagram's got that preloaded in there. Like in my Instagram, if I interact with an ad that has a native Instagram lead form, the autofill option pops up. And it's a fake email and fake phone number that I've put in for someone else that's saved to my Instagram account. So if you're running lead forms, turn off autofill. Other than that, I highly recommend, like if you've run Facebook ads in a 30 square mile radius, I would highly recommend testing Facebook ads in a smaller radius than you think. So what I like to do is I like to go on the US Postal Service's EDDM tool and find like the highest average income zip codes in my market. and run a test campaign in just those zip codes. Even though it's proximity based, people will disagree with me. Oh, but the cars drive in and out. That's great. The people that live in those zip codes are rich. So I don't care if like it's not going to be perfect, but you can target it a little bit more, go that route. If you are running a Facebook ad and you're doing any form of like algorithmic advantage plus or anything like that, and you're getting people that are from 4 hours away, 5 hours away, you can either turn off advantage plus and go old school targeting, or you can go into the back end settings of your Facebook ad account and permanently ban other states. So like what was happening with us while we were testing different types of campaigns is we would get like leads in El Paso, Texas, which is like a little bit east of us. And we would get leads in Santa Fe. I blacklisted the entire state of Texas, the entire state of New Mexico, the city of Prescott, Arizona, the city of Flagstaff, Arizona, all that jazz. And my campaigns cleaned up a lot when we did that. Still image is not dead per se, but if you gave me the choice, gun to my head, I would be running video ad all day long, and I would be branded and in front of a uniform. My best performing still image ad is fully created by ChatGPT, so don't overthink it. That's my quick hitters.
What was the prompt you used?
Dude, I fed ChatGPT a picture of a completed permanent lighting install, and I said, like, make me an ad for Facebook placement. This is a permanent lighting business, whatever else. And then it was like, make me a $300 off promo or something like that. And they did, and it looks good.
Love it. Love it. All right. What questions do y'all have for Steve? Anybody?
It's the middle of the workday. They're probably listening to me yap through some headphones.
I love it. I love it.
One thing we didn't touch on is like, we got in October and November of last year. I know we talk about Facebook ads a lot, like obviously. I'm a massive fan of like back-end automations. Like when you close out a job in your CRM, are the closest 5 to 10 houses, like, are the closest 5 to 10 neighbors of the job you just closed out, are they getting a mailer drip for the next 4 weeks saying like, we just did your neighbor or installed your neighbor or did whatever else? Like I'm a big fan of like automations like that. I'm a massive fan of Google Maps. Like if you're doing less than $1 million, there's a lot of like all of the home service accelerator people. We have like a 15 module. We have like a 15 module Google Maps boot camp that I actually made with Bodie from Striker Digital. And then if they're like, typically the way it works is like, if they're in home service accelerator, they're probably doing like less than 2 million a year. And so what happens is like, we get them there and then they go use Striker after. Like that's kind of the idea. So I think we funneled one guy or 2 guys from home service accelerator into Bodie or something like that. But, so I'm a massive fan of Google Maps. Like I am not like impartial to Facebook. We will do branded yard signs in customers' yards, A-frames outside of the vehicles, fully wrapped vehicles, crazy gift card campaigns for referrals with like, if you give us a referral, we'll give you $100 to a steakhouse, like aggressive stuff like that. So I know the conversation was largely about Facebook and Instagram, but like, I mean, 55% of our income for my Christmas light business last year came from organic. 5 years ago, 95% of it was coming from paid. So it went from all of my traffic in year 1, all of my leads obviously were from paid, like 95%. And then it went in like the 80s in year 2, 70s in year 3, 60s in year 4. And then in year 5, it was 45% was paid ads, 55% was organic, meaning like you can talk about ads all day long. But if you don't have like, one, you're not doing a good job and you're not asking for like all of the basics, photo reviews, gift card campaigns, automations, all that jazz, then don't even bother.
I'm with you on that. So the way I like to think about that is when I started my business, the first thing I needed to do was get my website in place. So it's like, boom, get the website built by a pro. If you got the background, I don't know if you build your own, but like for me, I just didn't want to spend my time. It's like $1,500 or $2,500, whatever. It's like way better to just move faster, in my opinion. Get it built right, get the SEO optimized, especially for your basic service pages. Then go set up your Google business profile. And I'm a huge fan of Google business profile listings, like with a pin in the area. And the reason I go in that order before ads is because you want to have that baseline set, because that's going to be the foundation for where you ask for your reviews. So you're
For
going to create
sure.
this flywheel, right? And you got to set your foundation. Then once you set your website Google Business Foundation, I knew that SEO would be powerful 3 years down the line. And the best time to start SEO was yesterday. So I started SEO right out the gate. I told Bodie and those guys what I wanted to optimize for. Here we are. We get a ton of organic at this point too. But then the next step was going to paid, because you can get, once you crack the paid code, you can start getting leads faster. And to your point that you talked about in the beginning, which is why I knew I was going to love this conversation, you're getting brand awareness as well. I can't tell you how many times we have a website lead. They come in and they're tracked as a website lead, and I don't have Hyros, so I can't specifically track this. Our salesperson, though, does ask the people, where did you see us? They're like, oh, we see you on Facebook all the time. The awareness that you can grab inside local with Facebook and Instagram ads just builds this flywheel. So you're going to get leads, like you said, to your point, and you're going to get more people talking about the business. So then whenever you actually go get the leads and close the jobs and provide the 5-star service, then you get the review on Google. Well, now that algorithm starts working for you.
Exactly.
Over here, you've got the paid algorithms working for you as well. If you're doing all of this, my bet is that very few people especially in local service business, especially in your industry, in your market, very few people are doing this on like covering all the bases. So if you do this, your chances of success drastically increase.
Massive. It's like the bigger businesses that I talk to, like the guys that are really like, they're very big about like the difference between like front end selling systems and back end selling systems. Like it's not quite a back end selling system, but it somewhat is. Like you get the customer from one thing. How are you squeezing the juice out of that customer into like 1,000 different things? It's like you got them from organic, but now you're getting the Google review with the 5-star, with the photo, whatever else. And now it's just like, it keeps building and building and building. But it's dude, it's really funny. Like, let me show you, like, before we go, we talked about like I just like to be super transparent about my business. I know my competitors will probably watch this. I don't care. I'm already a step ahead, baby. But if you look at my map ranking, so this is my Christmas light business that I've had for whatever. I have like 68 5-star reviews, but there's a ton of photos. This is how I rank for commercial Christmas light installation, like pretty good. And then this is the permanent lighting brand I started like 3 months ago. Like we're already ranking like 1 to 5 in the vast majority of the place we want to rank for permanent Christmas lights. And I started it in March. Like March. But I just follow the structure. It's like every customer leaves us not every, actually. I can't even, that's an exaggeration. But like we are aggressively trying to get photo reviews. Like we are aggressively trying to get like well thought out reviews. We're explaining to the happy customers at the end of the job just how impactful that is for us. Like, and then like explaining that to them. And because you did such a good job at the job, the law of reciprocity is coming in, and they're like, the least these guys are way overserved. Least I can do is write them a nice review. And they told me that photos are really important. Honey, go snap a photo tonight. Like, and like the fact that we went from 0 to like that ranking overnight in 3 months on Google Maps is like pretty telling.
I wish Buddy was on here, or to jump on, and we'll have to do a live with the three of us here. But I think I saw a post from him lately, and I believe he's told me this in the past, like whenever you're taking photos, get your equipment that's branded, get your trucks that are branded, get your crews who are wearing the branded shirts, the branded hat, and make sure that you're taking that photo from that location. I don't remember if it was Bodie or Andy who told me this, but if I'm not butchering it, it's the Google algorithm reads the geolocation data associated with your photo and where you took that to further verify whether you're an actual service provider in that service area that you say you're providing services in on Google Business Profile and your website. And so when you do that and match it all up, you're just like music to the algorithm's ears.
Yeah, the back end of like when you take a photo on an iPhone, the latitude and longitude coordinates are tracked in the metadata of that photo, and Google definitely sees that.
Yeah.
Wild.
Wild.
It's a good time.
It's a fun time to run a business, that's for sure.
Yeah, there's more competition than ever, but there's also more bad competition than ever, you know? So
How long do you think we have in this window of home services before it's just completely like cost per lead just goes straight through the roof?
not to be impartial to what I talk about, but
Cost
like,
per acquisition.
okay. No, 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 you're right. But like, here's an interesting sort of like pushback on that. Like, what takes more skill? Hiring the professional agencies that run Google pay-per-click and Google SEO for you, or creating a high converting like meta ad and testing a bunch of creatives? Probably take making the meta ads. And so the only reason I say that is because all of the experts know how to set up Google pay-per-click campaigns. Everybody's on Google pay-per-click. The thing that's working right now really well is a lot of the like owner based, like more aggressive marketing, right? Like the more aggressive call out video marketing. And so I always tell the guys in Home Service Accelerator, like in anything in any business, it's like what lever can I pull that, like, for any Star Wars fans out there, if you haven't watched episode 3, it's like 20 years old, so I'm going to spoil it for you. When Anakin and Obi-Wan are fighting at the end, and he's like, Anakin, don't jump, I have the high ground, and he's like, I hate you, and then he cuts his legs off, he becomes Darth Vader. Like, that is, Obi-Wan has a unfair and strategic advantage there. It is unfair in that setting. I firmly believe that my skill on Facebook and Instagram ads and my processes are unfair versus my local competition. I have an unfair advantage against them. Like, you cannot run with me locally. You can't. Like, even if you got a similar Facebook ad side, like, I'm maxing the spend in on Google too. Like, I'm maxing it. And then on top of that, I'm hiring 2 more sales guys. I'm gonna have 3 in-person sales guys this year going out all over town, and you're trying to quote virtually on the $10 million house in Paradise Valley. Like, all I'm trying to do is like, I'm trying to find unfair advantages. Like, and that is like the best example is like, I think that the owner's ability to generate and consistently make good ad content is going to be the great equalizer.
Hmm. Hmm. Hey, what's your perspective on in-person site visits versus over the phone quotes?
So if I was not positioned in my business as the high-end white glove service targeting the richest people in the state, I would be more open to virtual quoting and just volume. So the reason I don't, and so if any of you said there's 100 something people listening to this, um, while I was talking about doing in-person quoting, there's probably Christmas light guys out there listening being like, that makes no sense. My average ticket's $3,800. Your average ticket's $1,200. It doesn't make sense for you. It makes sense for me because my average ticket's $3,800. I would not go in person and sell if my average ticket was $1,200. And so what guys hear is they say like, oh, well, in person wasn't scalable for me because it didn't work. They were going too far over town. They weren't building a brand in like the high end areas or anything like that. And so I'm going to go in person because I have multiple 5-figure residential installation jobs that there is no chance in hell they're ripping that over a phone. Like, they're not ripping, like, they're just not. Like, maybe you could get some of it, but you're not getting at scale what you want, because I quoted virtually in year 1 and our average ticket was like, I'm going to butcher these. There's videos about this other, like, I have done PowerPoints like this on YouTube before, but our average tickets from year 1 to year 5 went from like incrementally from like 17 or 1800 bucks in year 1 to 3800 in year 5. So it's like 1700 to 2000 to 2400 to 3100 to 3800. Like, I changed to a in-person selling model between year 3 and 4, knowing that I could get more out of it. So I'm an in-person guy. And when I speak at Christmas light conferences or anything like that, a lot of guys push back on me at that. To which I will say, this is not arrogance. It is not bragging. It is not whatever. There are plenty of ways to skin a cat. But my next point, meaning like, if remote works for you, great. My next point was like, what's your average ticket? And then they're, oh, our average ticket's $1,500. You are correct. You should not be quoting in person. My average ticket is $3,800. I will continue to quote in person. That's my soapbox on that.
Love it.
There's so many different models though. Like, dude, I'm not even that big. Like, we do $800,000 in a 2-month period. I have met guys that have businesses in the Christmas light space that are doing high 7 figures a year. And you've never heard their names or seen a single piece of content about them ever. So there's levels to this thing. Those guys are probably not selling in person.
Oh, you don't think so?
No, a lot of these guys got really good back ends. Like, some of these guys quietly went to China, got their own, like, once they got big enough, they got their own volume. So they're getting product for, 50 cents a foot, 60 cents a foot. They're selling it for $4 a foot, $5 a foot. Their numbers make sense. They got 1099 employee or 1099 crews that are just subbed out like crazy. Completely different model than mine. Completely different model. But I mean, shoot, there's a commercial guy in my market that's doing like high 7 figures a year, all commercial, going all over the country. They go to Washington to do a commercial job at a shopping mall for mid 6 figures. They'll pay for 20 crew members to go stay at a place in September in all over the country if the ticket calls for it. So there's a lot of different ways. So when I give this advice, you have to also, or like my feedback, you have to also understand, like, just because it works for me doesn't necessarily mean that it's like the rule book for what you should do. I'm just sharing just simply off of like, this has worked for me and I don't think my opinion's gospel. We probably do a lot of stuff wrong too.
Well, that's the only way you figure out how to do stuff right, is to go and do it wrong.
Facts.
I've done plenty of Facebook ads wrong, but when you find the one that's working, it's just pour gas on that fire.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hey, one thing we didn't talk about was setup on the back end. I know you mentioned the advanced, what's it called? Advanced placement?
Oh, for like Facebook ads?
Yeah, for Facebook ads. So are you just picking the zip codes and then targeting based off that, or are you using that advanced feature? Like, what's
It's
your
kind of
perspective
area
there?
dependent. I like to go zip. Like, sometimes I don't hate the pin dropping either. Like, you drop a pin on like the map. But I think like a lot of people overthink it. So like a lot of people think like, oh, maybe I did the location wrong. Oh, maybe I should have done city instead of zip. Maybe I should have targeted just 30-year-olds to 60-year-olds. No, your creative sucked. 90% of the time your creative sucked. So, and this is also from a guy who, like, I have an online business that spends a lot of money on Facebook ads a day. Like, a lot. Like, I will never pay for a flight again. That's how much we spend on Facebook ads a day. So I'm also coming to this from like, I run ads at the national level to everybody in the US in one business. And I also run ads at the local level. And I can tell you, both sides, very little about targeting at this point. It's all about the creative. But to answer your question, it's a lot of like zip targeting, pin radius targeting, whatever else. Some guys like have trades where they want to target the whole city. Like, sometimes it makes sense. Like, it's kind of area dependent, but I would recommend starting smaller than you think and then expanding.
And when you say starting smaller than you think, are you getting neighborhood specific?
It's
On your
harder to do
call out?
that. Like, it's harder to do that. And it's so much of it's testing. Like, I push back on, like, your audience is everywhere in the country. And so like somebody in, rural West Virginia is going to hear me and like, this doesn't make any sense. And then somebody in Houston's going to hear me and be like, oh, like that makes more sense. So like, I would say like rule of thumb is like, start in the, like, go to Chat GPT or whatever, download like the highest earning zip codes in the cities you typically like to target that are close enough to each other. Put all those zip codes in, go zip code targeting first. If you don't want to get that granular, just drop the pin, like the physical pin, in the area you want to be, and then just shorten the radius to like 5-10 miles. It'll tell you what your estimated audience size is on the bottom, and then just go from there.
Nice. Okay.
But like, for example, Advantage Plus targeting, I have a campaign ripping with Advantage Plus targeting on, and then I have campaigns ripping with it off. So it's like, what's the one factor that's probably the difference? My creative's not bad.
Okay, give people like 3 different or a couple different ideas of creative. Just like real quick. And I can go first. Like, one thing that's worked for us is before and after. Hey, does your property look like this? And you want it to look like this? Keep your face in it. Keep the back of the property where it's like messy. This is specific to land clearing. And then
Mhm.
where it's cleaned up. Like showing that grabs attention. What else you got? Let's riff.
Yeah. One of the best ones we've seen work in like every single window cleaning company we've ever worked with, outside of like maybe one or two turds who just never did it, went and filmed it. There's this model, we don't even have a name for it, but it's what's up Lackawanna County, or it's if you live in Lackawanna County, and right as you say that, we flash the map of the county on the screen for 2 seconds. If you live in Lackawanna County, and then the map of that county pops up onto the screen, and your windows look like this, and then there's a shutter noise, and it's 3 photos that are dirty windows. It's like dirty window 1, dirty window 2, dirty window 3. We've got the solution for you. And then it goes, the solution is called insert so-and-so cleaning company. Here's what you'll get. And then it goes over like a full front to back window cleaning. Like you just go into what you do, full track cleaning, full whatever else. This is just for windows. And then it just closes with, and right now this is like some gross like marketing big brain stuff. Like the next 10 people, it says like the next 10 people that respond to this ad will get $100 off lifetime discount every single time that they get their windows cleaned, because these window cleaning companies are selling in our program are selling maintenance plans, like quarterly plans, by like whatever plans. They're trying to get them the $100 off quarterly plan anyway. So it's like $100 off lifetime discount is just them signing up for the quarterly plan anyway. So like it primes them to get into their quarterly clean MRR product anyway. So that's a good one. The other ones we've seen work really well is like, I kind of already hit on a little bit, is like stand in a landmark, call out the location, who you are, what you do, why you're different, expiring value proposition at the end. Like stand in the landmark, whatever's important, whatever is relevant to those people. The other one is like, once you get better, we have a quick hitter ad that like crushes. It's 6 seconds. It's a video. And it says like, Scottsdale homeowners, the future is here. And it's my director of operations for the Christmas light business, my co-owner in the permanent lighting business. He has like an old pair of string lights, like old gross looking Christmas lights. And he snaps it in front of the camera, and it snaps. And then we do a jump cut, and it turns into the track on like the permanent lighting business. And it plays like a Drake song at the end. It's like Scottsdale, Arizona, the future is here. And then it goes to that, and it says like, sign up to or get a quote for a permanent lighting install today. And like that is like, obviously the CPMs on that ad are a lot cheaper because it's 6 seconds long. So that one just like nurtures the schnoz out of the marketplace because it's a quick hitter, boom, boom, boom. But that's just off the top of my head, like a few good ones.
Great. I love it. Hey, what questions do y'all have? Got 184 people. People keep joining here. If you're joining, going to get out of it whatever you put in. So ask the questions. Steve runs a lot of Facebook ads. Steve, why don't you just give a quick overview, who you are, what business you run, for all the new people joining. I don't even think we did an intro in this one.
No. My name's Steve Hunsaker. I've owned 3 home service businesses. I just turned 30. I started my first one when I was 24. I have a Christmas light company that is, to my knowledge, the largest residential installer in my market in like the cities we are in. We do about a little over $800,000 in a 52-day selling period. Have about 30 employees at peak season. And then in my off seasons, I own the home service accelerator. Basically what that is I take all of the processes and systems that I do marketing and sales wise in my business, when I had the junk removal business, when I have the Christmas light business, now when I have the permanent lighting business as well. And I take every single process and system that I have in my businesses, our Facebook ad strategy, our Google Maps strategy, our signage strategy, our nurture strategy, anything like that. And me and my team essentially come into all different types of home service businesses and implement those exact same systems in their businesses. So the big drivers, Facebook ad strategy. We're firm believers that you do not need to pay an agency a monthly retainer if you're doing less than $1 million a year in sales. Unlike larger trades, probably even more, because the current state of Facebook ads is so creative driven. Even if you sign up with an agency, the first thing that they're going to do is have you go film content. So if you're paying an agency, to click a few buttons that you can click in a day, 12, $2,000 a month, $24,000 a year to run Facebook ads for you. We're a firm believer that you can learn it yourself. And the reason I started this business is I did do it myself. And I turned around and productized what I discovered through pain and 5 years of hiring dog doo-doo Facebook ad agencies, and was like, other home service businesses need this too. So we're essentially a teach you to fish and hold your hand to learn how to fish as a business. And then as opposed to you getting ripped for a $2,000 to $3,000 a month retainer for the rest of existence to just do something that you're going to have to do yourself anyway. So that's kind of the model as a whole.
Sweet. Well, this is what, the third time we've been on the phone today, and we've riffed for like an hour each time. This has been so much fun. There is so much, yet so little to Facebook ads at the same time. Like, it's pretty simple whenever you break it down. And what I've heard from you today is, one, be willing to allocate enough budget, which is what I heard you say, at least $75 a day.
It's all trade dependent, like absolute worst case, like 50 to 60 bucks a day. But you just have to realize that it's going to take you longer to get the results you want, the less you spend.
And I believe the other thing I would add to that is it's got to be market dependent as well. I mean, we're in a small town. We run 50 bucks a day. I think I've just stuck with that since I've started. We just don't have a lot of competitors in the space. Like, very few businesses are even running ads here. So I think if you're in a market like that, you're probably going to get data faster with the lower spend. But if you're in a market like you are in, or if you're in a big city, like, you're going to have to spend some more to get the data. And I guess the thing that I would add here is just understand that this is an investment and it should be viewed as a long-term play. Like, it's not just going to be a quick hit fix of like, hey, I need to flip on Facebook ads this month and get some leads. Like, this should be, if you're going to dive into it, you should be ready to allocate some time and effort and energy into figuring out what you've just talked about, which is creating the creative. Define creative for us real quick for people who don't know the definition of that.
Yeah, the creative is, in its simplest terms, the end thing that the prospect or customer that is scrolling through Facebook or Instagram sees. It's the ad itself that they see. So it's the video, the image, and the text associated with your ad. So like, that's like everything you're targeting, everything like that's the back end. Like, all the creative is like, what is the video, image, and text that the customer sees as the ad on their timeline?
And then the last thing I heard you say today is, if you're going to jump into this, be willing to at least test 3, or are you saying minimum of 5 different forms of creative?
Worst case, three creatives. Like, worst case, you're going to get, like, ideally I'd say 4, but like, if we look at the people who get the best results in Home Service Accelerator, it's the people that have put out the most creatives. That's like the universal law.
Cool. All right. What questions y'all have for Steve? Anybody have anything before we wrap this thing up? There's a 20-second delay here, so we'll give them some time. We are going to start wrapping this thing up. More people are joining. Almost at a couple hundred here. 192.
What's up, gang?
So.
Welcome in.
It's all from X too. We've got 4 people from YouTube here. 188 from you. From
Oh,
X.
that would make sense. Why no one, like, does X even offer them the ability to ask questions on X?
It does. What's interesting though that you asked that, when I initially got this platform, I thought that it was marking out X. And the last time I did a live stream, somebody from X commented, and Bodie commented from X here. Owen. Oh, and you got a stump grinding business, right?
Yeah, it says Stump Biz.
Yeah. Oh, and you have any questions specifically for Steve?
I feel like the stump business on Meta ads would crush, dude. I feel like that's like the easiest, like, because you have the satisfying thing in your business. Like, the toughest business to run ads for, in my opinion, is like a business that doesn't have an amazing before and after. Like, junk removal is hard to run Facebook ads for because the befores are so disgusting that it's like, oh, what are you putting on my screen? You know? So like, but like, dude, a stump grinding. I watch those Twitter stump grinding things all day long. Who's
Yeah,
the who's the one? Is it Ty?
Tyler Mumford.
Tyler
I've had him on the
Mumford, dude.
podcast a couple times. He's
Dude,
awesome. That
Tyler
that dude is
Mumford,
so awesome.
that guy, I was DMing him today. That guy has the best owner generated content on X. Like no one even comes close. I love that guy's content.
Yeah, and he's an even better person too. That's what makes it so awesome. He's like such a genuine dude, and he literally just shows up every single day and puts in the work. Played college sports too, and it's just like there is no secret to this, right? All these things are like Facebook ads are tools to help you succeed, but nothing, even including Facebook ads, is going to substitute for you showing up and putting in the work day in, day out. Like if you guys see Ty, he's blowing up because he's literally doing multiple jobs a day, hustling as hard as he possibly can. Like the dude's slamming an energy drink in the middle of the day. Like he sent me pictures before, and he's like, "Guess I'm living the contractor life now." But he's so amped up for it, and it's so awesome to watch because he is literally out there creating a great lifestyle for himself, and like nobody's holding him back, and he's not making excuses, which is awesome.
Yeah, no, his content is like it's incredible. There's someone else on Facebook, or excuse me, on X. I've been seeing a ton of their stuff. I cannot remember who it is, but if they come to me, I will give them a shout out because I'm new to X. This is probably like month 4 or 5 on X. It's been a good time. It's by far the best like small business, mid-sized business community out there. Like no other social platform even comes close. I don't know what it is. It's like the For You page is just better. I don't know, but X is the leg goat.
I also just think it's like that's where people like us are hanging out, meaning us as small business owners who are actually in the local service or home service space. I
I
think like,
agree with that.
and I don't know about you, but like, dude, I haven't logged into my Instagram in years at this point. I only go on Facebook Marketplace when I'm taking my morning crap just to look for like skid steers and trucks for our business. Like it's the only thing I use Facebook for. Like I'm a firm believer in like right now you're either consuming or you're creating. So I consume my content on X because there are a lot of other smart people on the platform who are offering like they're just freely brain dumping their strategies that they're using to grow their business. So I view this entrepreneurship thing as a long-term game. I'm looking to get better every single day. And so I actually think spending time most of the time on X, as long as it's curated, is a good use of time or to kill some time here and there. But I will come back to like you can only be doing one of two things, either consuming or creating. So if you're consuming the Facebook or Instagram content as a consumer, you're likely just getting fed a bunch of fluff. Unless
Yeah,
Steve's trying to sell you Christmas lights.
dude. Yeah, I will say like maybe my Twitter algo is getting dark. Like it's
Really?
like, dude, it's like half business stuff, half like wild political commentary. Like which I want less of. So I got to start clicking like do not disturb. But I know, or do not show me this or whatever. But I know they're showing it because I interacted with it. I'm not like retweeting stuff, but I know I'm getting it because I interact with it. But no, it's mostly business content for me, which is good. But dude, I was actually one of the things you just said was kind of interesting. You were talking about like X is like the best place for guys like us to get around. I was thinking about this the other day when I was walking my dogs. Like I was thinking about like the amount of free information that I have access to as an entrepreneur now in 2025 is like absolutely unmatched to even somebody like 10 years ago, but really like 20 years ago. The fact that like I can go on YouTube or X or anything like that, and I can like go from your podcast or your show or your YouTube videos straight over to an Alex Hormozy video. Go back to, X and see a thread of an ecom guy that built a $200 million ecom business and just like he's brain dumping on a timeline. Like 20 years ago, you just like didn't have access to that. Like it's so I was thinking, is it more so, and I'm curious what your take is, like, do you think the baseline competency of competition now is just so much higher in business and more competitive than it was 10, 15 years ago, solely based on lack of info? Or do you think it's just there's more pretenders now than ever before?
Oh, that's a good question. I haven't put a ton of thought into it. I still think if you're willing to show up every single day and block and tackle consistently, and by block and tackle, I mean do all the things that everybody talks about on here. It's like run Facebook ads, set up your Google business profile, build a website professionally, reach out to leads fast, do in-person site visits with them, ask for the job, and then be absolutely tenacious about delivering five-star service. Like that's the playbook right there. We could just stop the podcast there. If you just do all of that and you repeat that over and 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 over again, and you don't stop, you're
Yeah.
gonna win in your market because while there's more information now, I think more people are less willing. I'm hesitant to say this. I do think as a general society, most people are getting lazier. And I may get some backlash for that. What I mean with that is like we have so much distraction that it's really hard for people in today's day and age to be as productive, like physically, as they were 10 or 20 years ago. And so I think that there's more distraction, which leads to more inaction. And so I wanted to clarify like what I mean by laziness there. So what I'm saying is like, and it goes back to what I talked about. You're either consuming or you're creating, right? You're either scrolling or you're doing. And if you're willing to do all those things that we just talked about, and if you're willing to do that day in, day out, just like Stump Guy Ty, yes, even though he's taking a few minutes to film his videos, right? The dude is still banging out like 3 to 5, maybe 6 or 7, 8, I don't know how many jobs, but like the guy's doing like several $1,000s a day some days just as a solo owner operator with one piece of equipment and his personal truck. Like make no more excuses. The opportunities are out there in every single market. And this is why I started the podcast, because I truly believe that home service, local service, whatever you want to call it, is one of the greatest opportunities right now for people, especially millennials and Gen Z, who have been a part of the like, let's go run an agency. Let's go do an e-commerce company. Let's build a SaaS business, right? I'm sure plenty of you who are listening to that have had those thoughts or have even tried to start those businesses. I sure did. I can tell you this, home service, local service is way easier. Why? Because the competition, the bar is just set much lower. That's
Yeah.
just facts.
Yeah, and I say that to like I don't come on these as like some guru who's got it all figured out, but I will say like the stage that I'm at now, like financially comfortable, like everything ever want need whatever. But if you look at like 5 years ago, I was like super obese. I was like in a psychiatrist's office being diagnosed with depression, which was completely false. I was just lacking. I wasn't doing anything. It was not depression. It was like an animal being trapped in a cage willingly to not do anything. And like I look at now, and it's like if I look at the 5 years, it's like I tried to over 5 years. Like I failed at a lot of stuff. I tried to be a professional poker player. I tried to be a Twitch streamer. I tried to do some like business lead gen for a mortgage company. I did tech sales. I didn't fail at tech sales. I just wanted to jump off a bridge. I did tech sales. I started a business in COVID before my Christmas light business called Flock. And what it was supposed to be was it was supposed to be virtual team building for enterprise businesses. I never got a single sale. I never even got a conversation with like a company about that. So I still like that LLC is like buried somewhere. Like I have started and whatever, like and failed at like 5 different things. But then I found Christmas lights, and it's not because Christmas lights is the thing. I don't think Christmas lights is actually even that great of a business model. It's like I just did something a bunch of times until I found something that worked. That didn't mean I was like bouncing from thing to thing. It was just in my mind. I also started a sports blog that never took off either. And so it was like in my mind, I had all these things in my early 20s that was like, you know, when everybody says like just follow your passions, follow your passions. I followed every passion and realized that I didn't want to monetize the passions, right? Do your passions on the side. Like passions don't make money. What is the Scott Galloway quote? Scott Galloway has the stat. It's like 90% of people in the entertainment industry that are considered like actors, actresses, whatever else, can't even qualify for like some health thing because they make less than $20,000 a year on average, like on average. So it's like following your passion is what rich people tell, following your passion is what rich people who made it through something that wasn't their passion tell poor young people to do, but they didn't even do it themselves. So like my passion though changed. Like I started the Christmas light business to make money. Every business I've ever started was to make money. Anybody that says they started the business to help people and doesn't say and is just full of you know what. Because if they were just starting the business to help people, then why aren't you just at the soup kitchen every weekend? But I'm a firm believer that it can be both. Like start the business to make money, and I've employed 30 people, and in my Christmas light business, five of those 30 people have been with, of all the leadership positions have been with me for 4 years now. Like friends, wives, whatever else, like all of that kind of stuff. Like that's a new passion that I found, that I didn't start the Christmas light business thinking like I could create jobs in my community and like have people hitch their wagon to this thing I created out of thin air. That's not why I started it. But like that became part of the passion. And then it's the same thing with Home Service Accelerator. I started Home Service Accelerator to make a little bit of internet money on the side outside of Christmas season. It quickly turned into like, I got dudes' wives calling me, telling me like I was about to make him hang it up and go get a 9 to 5. Like that's passion now. And so it's also like we employ people. I have 8 employees in that business now. So it's like, that's also started as a moneymaker, which is fine, but it can be both. And like my pet peeve, dude, is when I see these entrepreneurs that are like $100 million tech companies say like, I just started Shiba.inu.net because I had a passion for blah, blah. It's like, you started it to make money. You didn't start it so that you could eventually donate 0.1% of your proceeds to the Humane Society. It's not why you started it. So anyway, that's my rant there. I don't know how we got on that, but I'm a firm believer in like, when I started the Christmas light business, I was fat, unhappy, depressed, and like literally a loser, like a loser. Like I was 30 pounds, 40 pounds heavier than I was in college. I was like 50 pounds heavier than I was at all time. I was by every definition of the word a loser. I had low self-esteem, low whatever else. But I read, and this is not like, it actually is an endorsement. I don't even want to go woke here. I don't care what he talks about politically. Jordan Peterson's 12 Rules of Life book is the most life-changing book that a 20 to 22-year-old man can read at that age if they are lost. Now, I'm not talking about the rest of the politics. I don't want to get into it. I don't care. That book is the single in the frame of mind I was at that time in my life. If I read it now, probably not that impactful. At that stage in my life, that book is what I was reading while starting the Christmas light business. Like, and the baseline message of that book is imperfect action trumps waiting and planning and trying to have the perfect plan. That is like the 200 pages of that book summarized into one sentence. It's like, just do something. Stop watching every Twitter live. Stop watching every YouTube live, even though we're on it. Like, stop. Like, you've watched all the self-help content you need. You've watched the 30 Hormozy videos. You've watched maybe some of mine. You've watched a ton of Austin's. You got the info. There's nothing else you're going to get there, but you're spending 30 minutes, an hour, hour and a half, 2 hours, like mentally, like mentally pleasing yourself through videos because you think that that's work. Because the dopamine hit you get from like self-help and business content feels like doing something, but it's not. And like, I did that for like 2 years, just like consumption. But like, it's even like Hormozy talks about it. If you watch something that's like 20 minutes long, 30 minutes long, and you don't make a change from what you watched, like you don't implement something from it, then it was a complete waste of your time. And I even think about that still now, like how many times I get in bed and I turn on the YouTube app on my TV and I just like blindly watch like either some of your stuff, Hormozy stuff, Jeremy Haynes stuff, Ryan Clogg. I'm in info, so like Ryan Clogg's, I've been watching a lot of his stuff. But if I go back and say like, how many of these things have I actually implemented into my day-to-day? It's very few. So that's my soapbox. Like, just go do something, anything. I did junk removal for 3 years. I was picking up people's trash while the Christmas light business was already working in the off season, like going into people's homes, going into like I did junk removal jobs for people I went into college with. Like I was going in and picking up a peer's garbage for him. Like, but it was action. And I learned a lot from that business. I learned a lot about not wanting to be in the junk removal business anymore, but I learned a lot about in general, like from just doing that action versus what I originally thought with Christmas was I was just going to work 3 months a year and then retire 9 months a year. That was also depressing in and of itself. But the action, like we are not meant to just like sit around. Like I'm a young man, so I'm going to speak from the perspective of a young man. Like I do not believe that men, young dudes, should be relaxing like very much at all. Like I very rarely take like a 3-day vacation and feel really good by day 2. Like very rarely. Like I am at my happiest and my peak as a man in like mentally, physically, spiritually, emotionally, whatever, when I am grinding so hard that like when my head hits the pillow, I'm like, hell yeah. And when my feet hit the ground the next day, I'm like, hell yeah. Like that's like the stage I want to be in. I don't get that when I relax. I don't get
Yeah,
that on vacation.
me either. Me either. Not at all. Like I love waking up in the morning. I'm an early morning person. So like I get so excited when we get to get up and work. And you hit on something, multiple things there. Um, I just believe young men especially are meant to work. It's like if you're feeling depressed, and yeah, thanks for bringing this up because like I haven't brought any of this up into the podcast before, but dude, I was in the same state. I was seeing a therapist, and it's like, dude, why am I doing this? Like I know what I need to do. I've consumed all the content. I have read all the books. I can tell you right now, like reading the next book isn't going to get you to your goals. It's like putting down the books and taking action on the past 20 that you've read and actually doing the thing is going to get you to your goals. And it didn't change for me until I made that change. And whether or not, like I know a bunch of, you know, very successful people still read a lot of books. I haven't read a book in 3 years. But it's been because I've been working on my business so unbelievably much. There's nothing more important than just taking the next step in the startup phase. And if you've built a business and you're listening to this, like you probably understand that. But like in the early days, you as the founder are the only one that is going to push that boulder up the hill until you start recruiting and hiring, right? And then it starts to get easier. And we were talking about this earlier in our first call. Like once you start getting people in place on the team, yes, like what did Hormozy say, or what did you mention? It's like technically easier to run a $100
Oh
million
yeah.
business.
Yeah. Like they talk about like they talk about like acquisition.com. I'm the biggest Hormozy fan. I get that like he's reached that stage of fame where now it's like cool to shit on him, which is like I see it on Twitter every once in a while. I'm like, you're
I know.
insane. Like you're insane. Like anyway, like
You can't doubt his work ethic, right? Like,
no, and like his content, like there's a reason he's the most famous
yeah,
finance influencer probably ever outside of Robert Kiyosaki. He's probably it. He's probably the most famous of this generation. Like he talks about like when they got to 100 million, the business itself was easier to run at 100 million solely based on the fact that they could attract and hire killers in every role. And so it became less about like brute force at that point and more about like tact and like filling positions and strategy and everything else. And I think about like sometimes I feel like my content resonates so well with like sometimes younger guys because like 3 years ago, my Christmas light company was doing 300K a year and I didn't have home service accelerator or whatever else. So I can sit in that a little bit. Like I can sit in that stage a little bit. And I can tell you like, since we're talking about like personal finance and everything else here, like my income has grown more in the last, let's call it 400 days, like than it did in the other 5 years behind that combined, or I guess 25 years from that combined. And it's like, what's really interesting is it's not that I just am working way harder now. It's like the first step is be the operator. And then the next step is like brute force as the operator until you cannot take it anymore. Then you hire your first employee. And then it becomes like, it's not brute force anymore. Now, like no one's keeping you accountable in the office to focus on sales when you have, you know, somebody doing some of the fulfillment for you of the trade now. Now it's like oh, I kind of got to relive. I kind of got to retool. Like I could just like go lay in bed for 5 hours right now. And like the job's still getting done, but I'm not moving the business forward. That's like how it changes. And so like now I'm at the stage where both of my businesses do over $1 million each separately. And so now I'm at the stage where like my best use of my time now is not getting on a sales call, like unless I'm testing something or I'm like actively working out a kink. Best use of my time is not getting on a sales call. It's not going out on an estimate. Like it's not any of it's not going and doing a repair of a roof, whatever like else like that. And I think that's the hardest part because you got this positive feedback loop in the building stage of just brute force work. And then when you like have to take the next step as an owner, you feel like you're being lazy because the positive feedback loop was coming home at the end of the day covered in dust. And it was like coming home at the end of the day and you're like, I used to have blisters on my hands from screwing in bulbs. Like my fingers would be like rubbed raw from like screwing in bulbs or like wrapping trees or like picking up people's trash. Now it's like I have to be effective with my time. And that's the new challenge that I battle every day. And I'm not going to lie to you, like in the last 6 months, it has felt like a little bit of like a funk because I'm not getting that like dopamine hit of like going on a sales call and closing it and then getting on a Christmas light call and closing it. It's like I have people doing that now. And it's really like it's a mind fudge. Like you gotta be dialed.
Gotta be done. Well, let's go back to the early days though. Like for that person, and I know that there are plenty of people because I've talked to so many people who are in this phase. It's like, what did you do to what did you do to start? Like people ask that all the time. And I'm curious to hear your answer to this, but for me, it was I just made the decision to take the first step towards it. And then I just kept making the decisions to show up every day and keep taking action towards it. And to your point on what you just said, it's like, yeah, you look back past the last 365 or 400 days and you're like, wow, my income has grown this much, way more than it did over the last 3 or 4 years. But that's because of momentum. And that's because the boulder is being pushed up the hill by multiple people, but you didn't get there by reading another book or listening to another podcast. You got there because you were actually willing to start push the boulder yourself and get the ball rolling.
Yeah. And like, dude, I think you nailed it. And it kind of prompted something in me with like the imperfect action conversation. I think you nailed it. Like in the early stage, you just got to do. But I think you and I both probably do the comparison game because with your podcast and like my stuff now, like you and I both talk to people who are like at the way next tier than you and I are currently. Like you and I are like in very similar spots.
Yeah.
And I remember when I was depressed, like, and I really want to sit in this because I remember telling myself when I make it, like when I get out of this, I will remember how this felt when I eventually have people ask me to come on their shows. Like I had this internal conversation 5 years ago. Nobody wanted to talk to me 5 years ago. I always wanted to talk on podcasts. Like I love yapping. Like I wanted to do that. I wanted that. And I remember 5 years ago being like, when I get there, like I am going to acknowledge that like when the guy gets up there and he's worth 100 mil and he just says work hard, I'm like, I'm trying to work hard. Like I am trying, like I'm watching this content. There is nothing that I desire to my core more than to not feel how I feel right now. Like that was me 5 years ago, like floundering. Like you said, you were talking to a therapist. Dude, I talked to multiple therapists. Like you cannot tell me I did not want it bad enough. This is all I thought about every waking minute of every day. And I'm not sitting here saying I'm $100 million guy with a house on the beach. I'm saying like, I am rich now because 5 years ago, the only thing that would have made me rich was not feeling that way anymore. So like I am as rich as I ever need to be right now because I don't feel that way the way I did 5 years ago, where I knew that I was going to, like, I knew that I should have been like the guy. Like I knew that I should have been like living in the place that I live now and like getting the attention from the girls that I wanted to, that I couldn't get attention from back then. And like, because I was fat and everything else, like I knew that I was capable and deserved that. And I was so mad and anxious and depressed because I couldn't get there. And so like, I want to make sure that like anybody listening, this might sound like a little corny, like cheesy, but it's like, I remember watching like rich people go on Logan Paul's podcast 5 years ago, or like go on Alex Hormozzi's podcast 5 years ago or something like that, and be like, it's just all about hard work. And I'm like, dude, no, it's not. It's not just about hard work. Like it's really not. It is like, it is about putting blinders on and like being in this stage of like, even though this is probably not what I'm going to do forever, I'm going to 110% this thing right now because the alternative is sitting on my ass and still feeling that way. Like that's the alternative. There's only two choices. If you've been depressed or like floundering or like, oh, in college I had friends and everyone loved me or whatever else, and now you're like at a job you hate or you're not making any money, you don't have a business or whatever else, or the business just sucks. Like I can tell you, if it's been happening for more than 3 months, what you're doing right now is not the answer. So the only logical answer is just brute force, do something. And so for me, that something was the junk removal company. I knew even in the first day I started, I would not be doing junk removal in a few years. But that was like, I had a pickup truck. Like, I'm just going to brute force this thing until I get into a better financial situation. I had no idea a YouTube channel was going to be a thing. I didn't know an Instagram was going to be a thing. I didn't know Home Service Accelerator was going to be a thing. I didn't even know Christmas lights was going to grow to where it did at that stage. I just knew do something here, something, and then just rip it. And whatever happens down the road will happen. So like everybody's situation is going to be different, but it's like, you just got to do something, whether it's the stump grinding, whether it's like you got to drive for Uber for 8 hours at the end of the day at your 9 to 5 to get enough for your stump grinder, like, or your, whatever, you got to buy Christmas lights, like whatever it is, just do something, dude. And I just hated hearing like quasi successful or people with a platform say like, I just worked hard. It's like, man, fuck you. It's not just about work hard. I've been trying to work hard this whole time. So that's my rant on that.
Well, Steve, this has been good stuff. We started with Facebook ads. We've ended with I would ultimately say it's like taking action. So if anybody is in that phase, I've said this on the podcast before, and I need to say it more often. I genuinely hope that if you have that burning desire to start the business, and if that hasn't gone away for the last several years, and you're continually going to your wife or your girlfriend about like, oh, I just need to start this business, it's like nobody else is going to start it for you. You've got to make the decision to put down the books, take out the earphones, go do the next thing. I've said this before on the podcast. I hope that this is the last podcast that you listen to before you start taking action. I don't even care if you don't listen to the rest of my episodes here.
And the action is ugly.
For you. What's that?
And like the action is going to be ugly in the beginning. Like,
yeah,
it's going to be ugly. You're not going to have the branded truck. You're not going to have the F-250, the 2500 Ram. Like you're not. Like a lot of these guys starting it from scratch. Like, dude, I hung the Christmas lights the first year out of the back of a Ford Fusion with a Gorilla light. Like, it's not pretty.
No, it's not. No, it's not. Dude, I blew up a Toyota Tundra because I was pulling my skid steer with a Tundra. Like, you can call me an idiot now, right? Like nobody does that. And everybody knows you shouldn't do that. But it's like some days you got to be scrappy, right? And like I got this work truck and it was this old beater Dodge Ram diesel to pull around the trailer, and that had issues. And so one day I needed to go get a job done, and I literally latched the skid steer on at elevation and I was driving over to Denver and the freaking thing blew up, right? Call me an idiot. Like we all do stupid stuff and it's all messy, but it's all part of the journey. And it's like, what I won't beat myself up over is the fact that, you know what, that was just part of taking action. And I was trying to do the next thing to get the job done and do what's right for the customer, right? Everything is going to be messy, to your point, in the early days. And it's going to be like that for a little while. So, man, I don't know how we landed on this spot. I'm going to leave you guys with something. I want Steve to leave you guys with something. I got to go pick up my daughter from daycare here, and we're going to get to the rest of our evening. Steve, we'll have to do this more often on a regular basis. Thank you guys for tuning in. We got 228 people here, majority from X. So I do appreciate you guys tuning in. If there is anything specific that you have questions on for Facebook ads, I know Steve would love the questions. Feel free to reach out to him on X. What's your handle?
I just messaged in the chat. Thanks for having me on. It's at Steve Hunsaker 1.
Okay.
Like Steve Hunsaker, like Attila the Hun, Saker. So
Perfect. All right. So I'm going to leave you guys with one thing. Take the headphones out, put the book down, go take action if you truly want to do this. Steve, what do you got for him?
Oh, you stole mine. I would just say like the end all phrase is like imperfect action will always beat planning. Like you have the access to the info. If you're on this podcast, like listening right now, very small chance this is your first home service podcast you're ever listening to. So if that's the case, go rip it. And then the other thing is just if someone else has done it, then that should be every piece of social proof that you should ever have that you can do it too. So it's like if you see these branded wrapped vehicles in the business, your trade you're in, and you can't get yours off the ground, they probably know something that you don't.
Rock and roll. Have some fun with it, y'all. We're going to wrap this one up. We'll do this again. And Steve, thanks for joining.
Dude, an absolute pleasure.
We'll post this one to the podcast, too.
All right.
All right. We'll talk to you later, man.
All right, later.